Welcome, 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 everybody. My name is Trent Farrington. I'm here with Out on Film, and we are celebrating queer propaganda. Just another exciting time and year where we get to showcase just another spectacular showcasing of films. This year, Out on Film is hosting our world premiere of Dolls, which is in our first ever sci-fi program. And I get to have a wonderful chat back with Geena Rocero here today and talk just about her film. Gina, how are you this morning?
Hi, I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Thank you
Uh,
for having us.
this is so an exciting film. I want to ask, yeah, just talk to us about Dolls. Talk to us just a little bit about the catalyst of this film. Talk about also maybe just about your community and it relates to this piece.
Yeah, so Dolls, I wrote and directed Dolls and acted in it. I wrote this around late summer last year, and it's rooted from a very personal experience. I was surrounded by so many people that's really close in my relationship that are experiencing pain, from like a physical pain has taken over someone's body to a dear, dear friend who, in a way, like experiencing emotional trauma that's trying to overcome that, and another friend that's describing a very painful moment that happened in their life that has this physical manifestation from a body part of that pain. So, in a way, I guess I filtered through that experience because these people are so close to me. And from that moment, I wanted to sort of process that. And that became sort of the genesis of this Dolls being it's a film, it's a sci-fi thriller about a relationship workshop for trans woman led by a trans woman with this charismatic leader. And from that moment, I was like, how do I filter to that? And then my interest in sci-fi filtered through that. And that became because I was, surrounded by my community in New York City. So I was like, how do I actually process through the lens of,
Hmm.
trans women? So that was the genesis of the film. And all the convergence of my interests and from a personal experience kind of like bloomed from there.
No, this film, it's a magnitude. I feel like that's the best thing about sci-fi. That's where I get lost. It's like there's just so much to kind of go into and explore there. You're talking about raw emotions. You're talking about real kind of feelings that we kind of understand, and then absolutely amazing choices that you make, but also just amazing chemistry between the cast and I think some of your emotions and blocking. Can you just talk about, yeah, just assembling that
Yeah.
team and working fluently as like a complete
Yeah,
cast and
I feel like
ensemble.
as an artist, I've been a fan of, in some of the artists that I love, that's like you're almost bringing like a circus with you. And my
Mm.
DP, Patrick Morris, and my editor, I have been working with him for a long time. My producing partner, John Mallow, my producer, Sheena Suarez. These are the people I've been working with since, when I was directing and producing documentaries. These are the same people that have gone to this journey with me as I entered. This is my first scripted project that I wrote and directed. And, from the very beginning, particularly Patrick, we've always bonded in this element of always go the very cinematic route, and there's a certain trust in that environment. There was a 35-person cast and crew, predominantly are trans, gender non-conforming folks. And, I felt like we created that safe space to create that environment. I had to say too, I remember, the feeling of, I'm usually a fan of like storyboarding things just to make sure. But I
Okay.
remember, I guess this is when the trust comes in,
Mm.
Patrick Morris is, we would banter, we would, challenge each other. I think that's the beauty of that kind of relationship. Why the film, I trust him as a cinematographer. We decided that, some elements that we will figure what we're going to shoot, but because in the context of what we're shooting, which is a workshop, which is, there's exercises, there's movements. I think from that moment we decided that let's really keep it as raw and intimate as in the moment in what we would create. I also work with a choreographer who did some of these performances in some parts of the
Mm.
film. So having that team that you trust, and on that day, the belief that we will get it was a gift.
No, that way you knocked it out the park. Like I said, yeah, the transition, talking from a nonfiction lens, kind of, yeah, story mapping, where it's very technical, it's very detailed. You can hope to get, what you're envisioning, but no, you switched to a very dramatic and a very cinematic way, and I think it was incredibly beautiful for everyone. I think on screen, and I even think the viewers as well. Yeah, can you talk, just yeah, also about casting and just kind of the response that maybe they've had and some folks have had for the making
Yeah,
of
no,
this?
because this is my first film, and knowing that, I'm um I'm playing different roles, right? I mean, I wrote it, I directed it, and acted in it, and I wanted to make sure that, like, when I cast, I, w- I w- because this is my first one, I want to make sure that, certain roles that I'm playing, I could be there for them, and it's, writing, directing, acting, and it's like three very different set of, muscle memory and in the moment. So, these are the people, some of them I know, some of them I didn't know. We, reached out to so many people, and I casted them myself. I have to tell a funny story. I casted them on Zoom. I had to tell this. I remember this one funny
Wow.
story, and a lot of them all audition for the main characters. And there's this one moment where, I was recording Zoom on the casting, and there's a character, that was performing so great, and it's just one of those things. I've always followed my instinct when it comes to my choices of projects that I get involved with, or how I want to sort of position the point of view when I'm writing a character.
Mhm.
I remember doing this casting, and one of the cast, after as we were doing, I just knew that she got the role. And as we finished, like, I forgot to record Zoom, but it was just like, that's I've been a believer of those kind of let's just
Wow.
call it magical coincidence. So I was like, definitely she got the. After that, I didn't audition anymore. But it's just one of those magical things, and she did great.
No, that's beautiful. I think one, yeah, and then through Zoom as well, that's like a challenge. You are definitely a pro, and I look forward to everything up and coming and next and in the works there. I think this is such a great start and beautiful start, and I think you showcase in just this wide amount of talent and thought and perspective that we
Yeah,
don't
I
think
also
about.
want to add, even a lot of people have commented as well on the music, the
Mm,
original composition that this Filipino woman that I met 12 years ago, and we've been working since, even in my other production, Susie Ibarra. Um, I just knew, I've always loved her music, and I just knew that she's the person that could really incorporate that kind of suspension, drama, and that, right in that tension, and we, collaborate that music. And early this year, as we were finishing the edits, she won the 2025 Pulitzer Prize in Music. I was like, oh my God, this is just so incredible. And obviously to have Susie Barra and to have Lily Wachowski to join as an executive producer was the queen of sci-fi. Getting that stamp of approval was just, it was, I can't help but just follow that flow and continue to work.
no, absolutely. I think yes, you've brought so much in this amazing project and have calibrated, I think, a lot of thoughts, a lot of conversations, and also an emotional piece. I always am trying to wrap my brain around it, wrap my brain around these characters, wrap my brain around what I'm taking from it. So I'm super
Yeah.
excited again, without spoiling and without trying to get too deep into the details. I'm super excited for the screening. Is there anything that you wanted to, like any folks you, again, have a big shout out, any folks you may have wanted to
Yeah.
plug or thank or make this
I
possible?
I think also what I wanted to add, like, this is a story I've also, besides being a fan of sci-fi genre, always resonate with stories about espionage and the spy genre. And there's an investigation piece that we follow as a central character named Yan, who's named after my best friend. Even another amazing coincidence, I knew the character name was Yan, but who's named after my best friend that I wanted to honor, who sadly passed away. Coincidentally, her name is YAansoon as well. So it was really part of that. And I
Wow.
think, you know, having this first film, making sure that, in as much as I know I wanted to look good, I wanted to, create that very propulsive cinematic approach. Still wanted to ground it in emotion. And, this is a story about also someone who's grappling with their journey. And is it assimilation? Is it,
Mm,
what does it take to focus on do I, do what I need to do as a character of Yen when it comes to her investigation. There's a lot of people have taken it's obviously this is I love having conversations with people and creating that immediate trust network to really give me different feedbacks. And it's been rewarding to hear people have so many different takes from dolls and this film that was really rooted from a very personal
mm.
journey of mine last year.
No, wow. Yeah, it's been lingering in me in the just in my everyday. I've
That's
been kind
good.
of
That's what
playing
we
around
want.
it. Yes, I've been thinking about it. I've been just like plugging it, and I am very, very honored to showcase this film happening tomorrow. So we are having the world premiere here at the Atlanta Film Festival out on film. We are super duper excited to have you here again, Gina. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. We're so excited. Dolls.
Cheers to that.